Peace family, this video right here is about shape-shifting and how it's done scientifically. Now, for those of you who are still in the Matrix and you still believe you're the only person walking around this planet Earth, you might want to click this video off. But for us who understand what's going on and what's been taking place on this planet for the last 6,000 years, and the negative inhabitants that we can say are controlling the United States government and operating places like Area 51 or Queen Elizabeth, who just was caught shape-shifting live on BBC News. Go look it up. They tweeted about it. The CIA took the tweets down. And if you want more information on this, I'm telling y'all want to be in the building for this Anunnaki lecture I'm giving on September 10th. And Dallas, Texas. I'm gonna be doing a video and throwing a flyer. With that being said, we're dealing with reptilian shape-shifting as well as other beings and how it's done scientifically. Now, when you're dealing with shapeshifters, and if you need insight on this, just go watch my video titled Anunnaki. It's on my page, Anunnaki. Go watch it, and you will be caught up on everything I'm talking about now. Now, that being said, shapeshifting is done through the manual reconstruction of amino acids and genes. Now, how is this done? First of all, what we got to understand is the body is like an airplane. It can be on autopilot or it can be on manual drive. So just like a pilot, just like your body, you don't tell it to breathe. Like right now, you're all watching this movie and your body's just breathing. But I mean, you're watching this YouTube video and your body is just breathing. But if you want to, you could take control of your breath. But if not, I can go back to talking and my body breathes on its own. So this shows that the body is alive from its own standpoint and it can be manipulated to fit the agenda of the mind at any point in time. Now, why is this important? You have 4 nervous systems, which I broke down before. I'm going to break down again because they're relevant. You have the peripheral nervous system, which is the body parts that you can't see directly in front of you when standing straight up with your arms and legs to your sides, and they're in your peripheral. So this would be like your arms, your legs, your fingers, things like that. Then you have the cranial nervous system, which is the neurological part of your body which controls everything in your cranium. So basically your Adam's apple and up. So this would be like your lips, your gums, your eyes, your nose, your ears, all of that. Then you have the autonomic nervous system, which is the neurological part of your nervous system, which controls all the automated muscles and nerves and everything in your body that you don't just off of consciousness. So this would be like your lungs, your liver, you don't tell yourself right now, digest food. Your stomach does it when it's supposed to. So these are all the levels of your body or being that are automated or automatic. Then you have the central nervous system, which is like the headquarters of the last 3 I just named. So this is like your spine and your brain, and your central nervous system is controlled by the pineal gland. Now, why is this important? Because through proper meditation and through proper self-discipline and through proper amplification of the brain, this is why I said go on a no talking fast. This is why Buddhist monks take vows of silence. And if you don't believe that levitation is real, they have Harvard scientists. You can go look this up. They have scientists from Harvard University in the Himalayas with the Buddhist monks right now, scientifically documenting that these people are rearranging molecules mentally to configure elements into other elements, and they're levitating. So understand that we just live in the Matrix, and atoms are nothing more than megapixels, and we live in what is called animism. And animism, by definition, is just the understanding that there's a higher power which cannot be defined, which creates all that we see physically, which I broke down in my science of the sun and its electromagnetic spectrum, if you ever seen that. Now, why is this important? Because you can reconfigure life however you want it, as long as you have the mental power to do so. So with that being said, when a reptilian shapeshifts, what it's doing is it mentally has enough frequency. It mentally has enough thought power to channel its frequency inward and not just take over its let's say macro or more holistic self, but it's microscopic self. It can literally rearrange the amino acids the amino acids on its polypeptide chain. So with that being said, if y'all need to know what a polypeptide chain is, just go on Google, hit images, type in polypeptide chains, and you'll see sequences of amino acids and chemical elements on a chain of DNA. So imagine if you were mentally able to tell yourself, put this chemical element right here, put this chemical element right here, and do this. This is how they change eye color. This is how they change other flesh color, because they have enough mental power to reconfigure their genetic structure at will. This is what they are doing. So this is kind of like Mystique off X-Men. How at will she can say turn like this, look like this. This is what reptilians are doing. So this is why they use European genetics, and this is why this is why I always get an example how like a white lab rat, for example. A white lab rat is not a natural animal. A white lab rat is a genetically grafted lab rat from the black lab rat, because the black lab rat is black because it has melanin. So when they shoot the black lab rat with these vaccines and new viruses that they create, the black lab rat's genes are too strong and it fights it off. So what they did was they grafted a white lab rat from the black lab rat in order to experiment on. This is the same case with the white race. The white race was genetically manufactured and spliced from the black race in order to be harvested for their physical vehicles. So the reptilian race has been hiding behind the host. Hiding behind the Caucasian race as a host. And now it's no longer to do so because it's being harder. It's become harder to live on this dimension due to the velocity of the sun. See, if you follow the fact that the sun has been heating up in the solar maximum, then you know that you know about carbon dating. Then you know that things have been deteriorating at a faster rate. It usually takes something 2,500 years to lose a certain amount of a certain carbon radioisotope. If you know about carbon dating, but the sun has been heating up so fast that things that usually deteriorate at a certain rate have been deteriorating way faster. So now archaeologists are not even able to tell how old things are anymore that they find, because the molecules and the rate of deterioration has been excelled. So let's say if you put ice in a 70-degree room and it melts at a certain rate, well, now using carbon radioisotopes as an analogy as ice, now trying to date things would be it would be the difficulty level of trying to carbon date things in this day and time would be like trying to configure or capture the rate that ice is now melting in a 200-degree room. It's instantaneous. So now why is it important? Europeans, as I broke down in my last video, black symbiotic body, they cannot produce, their bodies cannot perform what you call ultra fast internal conversion. So they get sun cancer. So and every 57 seconds, a European is dying from sun cancer. So I'm pretty sure the rate has went up because that was last year's statistic. So now why is it important? The body, the host that the reptilians have been using is deteriorating at a faster rate. So now they're being seen more around the world. President Putin has already exposed this. Everybody's already knew this. This is not new news to the world. It's just our people are so asleep, or we've been taught that fantasy is we've been taught that reality is real when really it's a fantasy, and what we believe is fantasy is really reality. So now getting back on point, the reptilians have been using the white race as a biological host in order to hide amongst us and manipulate us and control us. Now, as I was breaking down, they are able to rearrange their genetic structure at will in order to shapeshift. So this is how shapeshifting is done. Now what's happening is the Caucasian vessel is no longer able to withstand the sun. So now they're using us as melanated beings for harvesting. They're harvesting our organs in order to upkeep the European body. Now some might say, well, why don't they shapeshift into black people? Because you can't. Melanin is condensed sunlight. Melanin is the only chemical substance on a planet that is not from the planet. It's interstellar. Even scientists right now are taking what they say dead babies, but they're taking it from alive people too. They're taking the genes and they're taking the cells from black babies, aborted babies, so they say, but grown ass men and women too that they kidnap, and they're creating what you call solar cells. And these solar cells, science will confirm, are able to operate on a solar level. Black people's cells are from outer space, and they're using our melanin to coat spaceships so that they don't burn and get incinerated as they leave the atmosphere. They're using our melanin to protect themselves from the UV rays. So even white people understand that we are solar beings. Now why is it important? A reptilian is green because it has a low carbon base, which means it has melanin, just not enough. So it comes out green, just like plants come out green, just like reptiles come out green. A cobra and most reptiles, or not all cobras, but most snakes are green, and a cobra is the only reptile that has a pineal gland and can actually meditate. So understand that you can be green and you can be any color of the rainbow except for white, because white is the only color that does not exist. It's an illusion. So now why is it important? Reptilians are green, not because only they have a more reptile-based DNA, but because they have a low they have a low carbon base of melanin, so they come out green. Now it's harder for them to shapeshift into a black person because you can shapeshift, but you can't give yourself melanin. This is God-given. This is the gift from the Creator. Okay, so they can shapeshift all they want, but you can't grow melanin. If you don't have the melanin within the melanocytes of your body, you won't never have it. So they just use the Caucasian body as a host because it's easier for them to jump in and out of, because they can they can go from the fourth and third dimension. They're dimension jumping beings. So now it's really damn near let's say almost impossible for them to hold on to a black body. It takes way more energy and way more strength for them to harvest. Now they do it. You do see it with these celebrities, but it's hard. Mostly what they do with black people is they make us, as I broke down in my Hollywood video, if you didn't see it, they make us channel evil spirits and allow us to share our body with the evil spirit. They don't physically allow the reptilian to wear us or inhabit our body like a suit, like it does with George Bush and all of these people. And if you don't believe that reptilian shapeshift, I'm going to say it again for the 1,000th time. Go look up Arizona Wilder. Arizona Wilder. She was murdered because she used to be with the Illuminati, and she exposed that she seen George Bush shapeshift as well as Hillary Clinton and many other beings, and they murdered her ass. So go look her up. This is coming from a European. If you don't believe it, from a melanated God who's been on this planet far longer than any European. I know what's going on my planet. Now with that being said, getting back on point, yeah, shapeshifting is done by the elites, aka the reptilians, in order to hide amongst us. This is the whole point of the Illuminati bloodline, the 13 royal bloodline families. What's so royal about the bloodline? It's extraterrestrial. It's not from the planet Earth. All of these higher ups and these elites are just high-ranking reptilians. When you deal with ancient texts or ancient stories, every ancient civilization has a reference of a dragon or a serpent being coming out of the ground. All ancient civilizations reference an inner earth world. Even the Egyptians, for these fake Kemetic niggas who act like they just don't understand spirituality or nothing, the Egyptians called it the world of Duat. Buddhist monks called it Shambhala. So we can go on and on and on about the inner earth and the beings that live there. It's another, there was another Navy, wow, I can't get his name, but look him up. There was a Navy pilot, I want to say maybe 20, 30 years ago, if I got my, if my approximate time calculation is correct. He actually crashed his Navy plane and fell into a hole in the earth and reported, this is documented by the government, that there were woolly mammoths down there, there were trees down there, there were dinosaurs down there, and there were all kind of life down there that scientists say is extinct. So we are only on the roof of our planet. This is like the roof of our house. And we actually supposed to be able to go into the earth. So like when meteorites and meteor showers come, we go get protected. But this is why white people use borders and they set up shit like that. And reptilian beings use the white race as a pawn and set up things like that so that we never explore our planet. So if you don't believe you're a slave and you think you're free, why can't you leave the country without a passport, without permission? Because there's certain places of the world they don't want you to go. Like Alaska, for example. Reptilians have been down there conducting cloning experiments, and they have human biopods down there for where they prepare the bodies to shapeshift. They've been doing this forever. So, like as I was showing my lecture, whatchamacallit, in 2013, a CIA agent leaked actual photos from a cloning facility. This same cloning facility I'm going to show was spoken about in 1979 by Philip Schneider, who was murdered. So almost 30 years later, the same facility is being spoken on. And they don't want nobody to go to Alaska because the water in Alaska is so pure, it's literally healing people. It's filled with so many electrons, it's literally cleansing the body. And this is where they get the concept of holy water from. So these European scientists is down there experimenting with the most purest form of water, and meanwhile controlling the level of water that we get, because they know if black people get their hands on this alkaline water, we're going to immediately awaken the 142 alien genes and the 98% of our DNA that's been unlocked for the last 6,000 years due to our current location within the galaxy. So with that being said, coming back to point, reptilians are beings who are lesser than us. They're not more powerful than us. So don't be scared of watching this video. No. If they was about that life and they was more powerful than us, they would be able to come out to the open and do what they want to do. But if you watch my Anunnaki video, I'll explain exactly why they don't. So I'm not going into that now. But staying on shapeshifting, because that's the topic of this video. A reptilian, long story short, is a being that is able to neurologically tap into all 4 levels of its nervous system and reconfigure its genealogical structure, specifically the polypeptide chain located within the DNA, and recombinate its genes. When you're dealing with genes, anybody who really studies science knows that a gene has 5 units. The muton unit, the recon unit, the operon unit, and the replicon unit, and there's another unit, I believe it's called the Criston unit, if I'm saying it right. If I'm saying it wrong, you'll see it, you'll get it right. Now with that being said, we want to deal with the recon unit, RECON. the recon unit of a gene is the level of a gene, because each of these 5 units are able to be manipulated on some manner. So the recon unit, for example, is the out of the 5. Just picture you dividing a gene into 5 layers, like how you would divide a pizza or a pie. So out of these 5 different houses or layers in the gene, each of them has a specific level where they can be manipulated specifically. For example, the muton unit in a gene is the only fraction or piece of the gene that you can actually mutate. The rest of the gene cannot be mutated. So the recon part of the gene is the part where you can actually recombinate the amino acids or the elements or the genes or the information in that part of the gene itself. So with that being said, they are able to neurologically tap into the recon unit of their deoxyribonucleic acid, aka their DNA, and restructure themselves to fit the mental format that they are self-requesting. So this is how they do it. So there's a million videos of them shapeshifting. I show actual videos of them shapeshifting. If you've ever been to my spiritual spiderweb lecture, or if you come into my Dallas, Texas lecture, you'll see. So with that being said, understand who you're dealing with and understand who the head of the Illuminati is. The head of the Illuminati is called the Pindar. Pindar means the dragon. This is why in the Bible they call the devil the dragon. They don't say that shit on accident. They call him the dragon, Satan, the dragon. So understand the European race is nothing more than a genetically manufactured hybrid species, mankind, a kind of man. Science confirms that only black people are 100% human being. And all non-Africans are only 96% human being, 4% Neanderthal. They are genetically spliced humanoid beings. The same way the white lab rat was grafted from the black lab rat, the white man and white woman was grafted from the black man and black woman, so that they can be hosted by reptilian beings who chose to harvest this planet for the last 6,000 years. That's the truth. Nothing but the whole truth. Give a fuck if you don't believe it. Get the fuck off my video before you come on here with your smart ass remarks, trying to whatchamacallit, sway the minds of the people with your ignorance. So with that being said, family, this is who is the intelligent mind behind manipulating the planet Earth. And the truth is so far, it's so unheard of to people. It sounds crazy, but it is what it is. If you think about it, the white man was on all fours in a cave, no language, grunting, caveman, no language. We came and taught this motherfucker how to walk and talk. So you telling me somebody who, as I broke down, doesn't have pineal gland access, which means he cannot receive divine thoughts, has no neuromelanin liquid in the third ventricle of his brain, does not have any neuromelanin or eumelanin in order to tap into the cosmos. So you're telling me that somebody who has been basically banished, kicked out of heaven, banished from the solar system, can build a spaceship and go out of space, can build a satellite? So you're telling me white people have stole, because it's a fact, it's a historical fact that they have stole 100% of everything that they know from Africans. So now all of a sudden they just went from not being able to create shit and steal our ideas, but in somehow, some way, they just became brainiacs and was able to build viruses like Ebola and AIDS and create, like I said, satellites, spaceships, televisions, okay, walkie-talkies. No. They're getting help, which even white people will admit to this. So understand that there's also another European named Lloyd Pye who was murdered by the government for exposing extraterrestrials and it being in existence. So I just named you 3 white people who was killed, and one that we all know is Behold the Pale White Horse, but I don't name him because everybody knows him. So if you don't believe that there are beings on this planet, just try to see if you can get inside Area 51 and see what happened to your ass. So that being said, family, black people, we have to wake up. We are being spiritually oppressed as well as physically oppressed. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. This is not just a physical battle. This is a spiritual fight, and we have one of the most treacherous spiritual beings that's been at our ass for 6,000 years coming amongst us in the form of shapeshifting. So that being said, this is why our kids is coming up missing. This is why there's over 60,000 black women just missing. Don't nobody know where they at, because they're being used and harvested for their organs, because black people... Now listen. Why would children and black women be missing? Because children not only get genes from their parents, they bring new genes and give it to the mom. See, a lot of people don't know that The mother don't just give genes to the child. The child actually gives genes to the mother. So this is why they're stealing children, because they want those new fresh genes that are being sent down to this plane from the universe out the womb of the mother, as well as they're stealing black women, because as we know, the black woman has an ancient DNA structure. Now, why is this important? Because we're dealing with the polypeptide chain again. The polypeptide chain of the black woman is so immense. See, white people, their gene structures are this big because they're spliced. Chinese people genes is this big. Everybody else genes get bigger and bigger as you get closer to black people. Then when you get to the black woman, see, everybody on the planet got their genes from the black woman. The black woman got her genes directly from the cosmos. So she has the largest genetic data bank on the planet. So of course, if I was a shapeshifter and I wanted to keep refreshing my amino acids and my polypeptide chains with new genetics, I would keep snatching black women because I can get anything I want from her. So why would I rob your pockets when I can rob your bank account? And then why would I rob, why would I snatch, whatchamacallit? Why would I be stealing Chinese men when I can just steal a black woman and still take the genes that the Chinese man has plus extra genes? So they're stealing black children, and you can look this up. Who's the #1 people missing in America? Black children and black women. So they're snatching black children because black children bring new genes, and they're snatching black women because black women have all the goddamn genes. So black people, we have to protect ourselves. If not, if you think I'm lying, stay asleep. Hopefully your kids don't come up missing, and keep watching Love and Hip Hop. And keep thinking shit is a fucking game. And burn with the sun. I want you to burn with the sun, because I don't want to even deal with your monkey ass after this is all done. So everything's coming to the light. Don't say you didn't know. Don't say I didn't tell you. Don't say you haven't been forewarned. I'm doing the work. I'm doing what the ancestors want me to do. No matter how crazy this shit may sound to some of y'all, I'm telling you the truth. So understand what you must do to prepare yourself. You are living in a matrix. You are living in a world where shit seems real when it's not. You're living in a world where you believe you have to pay to live when the universe already gave you everything free. So you're living in a world where you're being taught that reality is a lie and that the lie is reality. So there is no Jesus Christ, but there is a such thing as an interdimensional extraterrestrial being, which is manipulating the frequency of this planet Earth and using the CERN machine in order to paradigm shift and merge dimensions so that they can bring negative beings here. There is a such thing as that. So understand, black people, wake up and understand what the truth is. So once again, ending this video, shapeshifting. Shapeshifting is done when you can neurologically control, take control of your nervous system, all 4 of them. The same way a pilot can take the plane out of autopilot and put it on manual, you can take your nervous system out of autopilot and put it on manual, and you can manually reconfigure your genes, specifically your polypeptide chain, and put which amino acids and which chemical elements you want where, in order to make the body manifest that physical result. And with that being said, family, know thyself, and when you do that, you know your goddamn enemy. We are divine children of who you call the Anunnaki, and we have an enemy that is extraterrestrial as well, because our divine lineage is extraterrestrial. The white man is nothing more than a pawn on a chessboard. He's not even a motherfucking knight. So understand who our real enemy is, black people. And this is why we must come together. The enemy is not the police station. That's just a distraction. Police just killing motherfuckers out here. That's just a distraction. The enemy is in the Vatican, and the enemy is the Illuminati, and the enemy is the secret government and the New World Order. Not this racist ass police riding around in a car who don't even know where the fuck he come from and think he's smart. He's a dickhead and he's nothing more than a pawn. So understand, the Pope is a reptilian, okay? The Vatican is not a church, it's a military base. If you don't believe me, try to go there and see if they don't shoot your ass. They have armed military guards, and in the basement of the Vatican is a vault where the reptilians have harvested all divine artifacts that they stole from black people, which I'm going to break down in my video I'm doing right after this, called Energy Prison, where I'm going to break down how artifacts are being kept in so-called museums and stored away because they have energies still attached to them that will raise the frequency of black people if came in contact with. So that video is coming right after this, family. But with that being said, I love y'all. Stay woke, stay conscious, and make a change. Stop just listening to the information. Act on it. Do what we got to do to restore ourselves back to the throne of our planet. If not, the planet will cleanse your ass because it's going down whether you like it or not. Peace.